When the train here money and we get here. Lacey. It's our city.
60 Northwest.
We got that.
Lacey.
So pretty. Loving it when you rain on me. There ain't nothing like my city.
Went to UFC 290 and had the time of my life. So
You guys go
grateful.
every year?
Say what?
You guys go every year?
No. That was our first trip, like alone, ever. You know, so I had the time of my life. And like we made our own destiny. Does that make sense? Like we were not going to be denied. If we wanted closer seats, we got closer seats. You know what I'm saying? If we wanted to meet a certain fighter, he was waiting for us for 4 hours and looking for us. It went down, bro. We had a nice dinner on the 50th floor. Yeah.
Bro, those pictures, I was like salivating at the mouth.
Oh, you see that?
Like, bro, this is the best meal I ever had in my life. I was like, God.
Lamb?
Caviar?
I thought it might have been fake when it came out. That shit. Oh my god, it was so pretty. You know what I mean? Just the plate, the service, the elegance, the grace. It was just so. Just the scenery, everything it was beautiful, man.
Did you guys do like an inclusive with your hotel at all?
No, it was just
everything
at the
you
top
paid
of
for everything separate.
Yeah, well, you know, we got the deal here and the deal there because of this and that. But it was at the 50th floor of our hotel. It was beautiful, man. It had a little walkout party. You can look over the whole city. You know, it was cool, man. I'm grateful. For sure. For sure. And the fights were cracking. Because you know I'm into that. Yes. But thanks for asking. I appreciate that.
You remember when you were emailing me when I was locked up?
Mm-hmm.
And we had that conversation. What? You remember?
I do.
You
I know
remember?
exactly what you're talking about. I still think I'm right, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well,
Right.
make your case.
I mean, these are professional fighters who train every day. I do think they would beat up the toughest person in the joint. You're talking about that conversation, right?
Yeah, but you didn't say
Bruce
his name.
Lee.
You said Bruce Lee.
Oh, okay, I did. I did. And what I was saying was, did Bruce Lee ever compete? I know. All respects to Bruce Lee. I mean, no disrespect.
No, I remember the
But is
context.
he beating up John Jones?
That's what I'm saying. You were saying that
don't
like
think so.
like these UFC members are trained killers and this and that. But are they? Because my argument to you back then was, and I stand by it now, is UFC fighters are trained dogs. They're trained to go and stop at a whistle.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? They're literally
Okay.
trained to fight to not hurt or harm or kill.
Okay.
That's what they're trained to do. They're trained to stop if someone taps. They're trained to stop if a referee says something. They're trained to stop as soon as a guy's eyes roll back.
Right.
Now, when you take Bruce Lee and try to put him in that same category, and they were to go knuckle to knuckle without that type of
Just
referees, just
the
heads up. Like that was the question you had emailed.
Right.
Was like, they're killing Bruce Lee, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like their whole thing is to not hurt somebody.
Okay. It's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
sport.
It's a sport, exactly. They're trained from the moment they start training to the moment they leave that ring and enter the ring to not hurt their opponent. There's fines, there's consequences.
Right.
That is instilled in them, hardwired. Now you put them in front of somebody like Bruce Lee, who was deemed internationally a human weapon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was a killer.
He was literally one of the only human beings that was deemed a weapon of mass destruction in a little ass body.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a UFC fighter taking the gloves off and killing Bruce Lee hand to hand.
I see your argument.
I
do.
I'm not.
I do.
You know what I mean? The 1-inch punch is real. His
It was
jump
real.
kicks are like could kill a human. You know what I'm saying? It's Bruce Lee, bro. Let the audience make comments. about that.
I disagree, but I do hear what you're saying. And that's the beauty in it. That's the beauty. That's why it's so beautiful. to have conversations and to go back and forth. That's one of my favorite things to do is to have a great conversation. You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is. That's what's up.
It's on.
Look at him, sister.
We talking about something she has zero interest in.
Right, but do you have an opinion on it? If you don't, you don't. I understand.
No, I just, well, kind of, because I feel like trained fighters are trained to fight in the ring and do certain things. So if they were to get into it with a regular street fighter, they might not necessarily be as big of a thing as they are in the ring because they're trained to do certain things as a UFC fighter.
Okay.
And if you're a UFC fighter and you're in the street and you're fighting a street fighter, I think that there's different tactics.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because there's two sides to it.
Right.
Yeah, you're training hella hard
Every day
to win and to get this belt in a sport, but at the same time, how many of these killer go hard fighters rely on those rules and regulations for their own safety?
I do believe if they were
It goes
in a street
both
fight,
ways, but I'm saying it goes
they would
both.
gouge eyes.
It goes both ways.
Right.
You rely on those safety mechanisms,
Right.
and your first instinct isn't going to be to kill or maim.
Hold on. Let me ask you guys this. Let me interject. If Herb Dean was not there to stop the fight or to stop the tap out, and they got a civilian in the street in a rear naked choke, and there was no one to stop him, you don't think he would die?
I think he would
After
go
a
to
few
sleep,
minutes?
and that UFC fighter would let him go.
Maybe.
Because at that point, he won.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like if a regular, because not only are they trained to do that in the ring, they're trained to live a certain lifestyle. They can't get in trouble outside of what they do, or their career's done.
One more interjection.
So there's so many consequences attached that their brain are operating. If a dude were to just take off on them,
Right.
yeah, they know instinctively I could do this dude in.
Right.
But they
sure.
also know if I go too far, I'm going to jail. I'm losing my contract. It's over. This is the end of my life. So they would probably do just enough.
Let him go.
To be like, look, I'm a UFC fighter. He shouldn't have stole on me.
Yeah,
this is what happens.
That was horrible.
But to go that extra step and kill him, it would be more in the news if it was a thing.
Okay, but it's
because they do get into it outside of.
I do know
on a regular.
someone that was training to UFC fight, and he was constantly getting into it.
Right.
Brett is? Brent.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bro, he's a savage.
Yep, and he would go downtown, and someone would say something and offset him, and because he just wasn't like stable in his mind, and he would fucking just go mo. And he was trained UFC, so
he was savage.
Yeah, he would fuck them up.
It's not someone you want to get in a fight with.
So
I think we need to differentiate. He was trained MMA.
Of course.
UFC is like the difference between your local pro league football team and saying NFL. He was trained in the NFL.
Right.
It's a different level of athleticism, different level of violence.
Let me ask you this. It's always situational. If Bruce Lee would have competed and tested his skills versus another high level, of course Bruce Lee wouldn't have killed him in that competition. But let this same man break into his house with his children sleeping upstairs. You don't think Bruce Lee or John Jones or Dustin Poirier or any of these professional fighters would kill them?
I think
if their family's upstairs,
I think
they have a gun.
Like you said, it's situational because if two very high level fighters were to meet in fisticuffs to the death, it's like a chess match.
Right.
The first mistake is going to be that person's downfall, and that scenario could be, I guess, spun so many different ways to where if you ran it 100 different scenarios, it could end up being 50-50 or 60-40. 60 of the times Bruce Lee comes out the winner and kills that guy, and 40 times the other guy does. It just depends, because if you walk into a house and you don't see it coming, and Dustin Poirier is like this against the wall, and the intruder walks by, and the intruder's Bruce Lee, but he don't see that hook coming from around the corner, Bruce Lee loses.
Right, 100%, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
The first one to mess up is the loser at that level.
But I think in
Right.
like a what they call that, like kumatized, or if they was like to the death, and they're both standing there and they're both aware of what's at stake. I think a lot of times Bruce Lee's gonna come out on top, bro.
This is a good conversation.
I'm just saying.
This is a good conversation.
Not for Babe though.
but she's hearing us though. I was gonna ask her another question. After hearing a little more, do you still feel the same way? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Respect. This is high level shit. And you know what? I still feel the same way. You still feel the same way. And I would actually like to hear what the audience thinks. I think that would be filthy. I think
which would be great if we were on vibrating.
People tapped in like, hey.
Beep, beep, beep.
We'd have killed
Beep,
it.
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, I mean, but we didn't even talk about it. It's authentic.
Right.
We had no idea that topic was
I
even
know,
gonna
that's
come
crazy.
up.
Hey, that's crazy.
Because we were talking about something totally
what you were
different
talking
yesterday.
100%.
But when you said UFC, I was like, oh, I remember that.
Bing.
Yeah, definitely remember that.
It's fine.
All right. So locally, what's going on right now is Lake Fair downtown Olympia.
Oh,
It is.
Today
It is.
through Sunday. Sunday night fireworks at 10 p.m. And there is an event calendar you can go to on Google to look for everyday events that occur there. They have bands every day in the park. The booths are there every day. The food's there every day. The carnival's there every day. There are no wristband days anymore. I think they quit doing that a couple of years ago. So you just have to purchase tickets once you get there. And what else is going on? I think that's like the highlight right now in town.
Right.
The Children's Museum just had some things. There are Tuesdays at Huntermore Park are bands and shows, and Fridays are movies in the park at Huntermore Park for free. If you don't know what Huntermore Park is, it's on Culver Street in Lacey. So every Friday in July and August, there is a different movie playing, and they have some food trucks and stuff, and it's free to go sit and watch your movie, bring your own snacks in the park.
Nice. And Calvin, Cal, and my lovely wife, Lacey from Lacey, are going to be down there at the Lake Fair Parade.
Calm down.
Interviewing Rob Wiggins and the South Sound Mopar Car Club members. So that's going to be dope.
Calm down. For sure.
So that's going to be probably the episode after this one.
Right, and the parade is Saturday at 5 p.m.
It is.
And then fireworks again?
Fireworks are Sunday at 10 p.m. It's the last day of the fair that it closes on Sunday. Also, there is a car show Friday. It starts on like Deschutes Parkway or something and goes all the way down to downtown.
Nice. All right, check it out, man. What's something like weird and funny that's happened to you in the last month?
Weird and funny. Let me think about that for a second. Weird and funny?
Weird or funny, or a little bit of both. Like for me, I'm in my office at work.
Okay.
Not saying where, you know what I mean? But I'm at my desk doing my thing. I'm facing a window that faces the street. And I look up, and there's a houseless person, drops his pants, bends over at an angle, and just projectile poops on a tree that's in one of those squares, like on the sidewalk. And he's like 1.5 feet away, and it hits the tree. Does this thing, and I'm just like, ugh. Like what the, like who does this? And it's just like, I mean, I work in a place where he could have easily just came in and used the bathroom.
Right.
And he just walked off. I don't know. I
didn't wipe or nothing.
And that also makes my point of like where it gets scary and sketchy to walk places and walk your kids places, because health's disgusting. Okay? Disease, germs, like, and that's one of a plethora of other things that could be on the streets or sidewalks for our kids, and it sucks. Okay? But you know, right now, I have been watching, dang it. I should have remembered his name. I know his last name is Cho on TikTok. And he's going around Seattle and Thurston County areas. And he is going into like the homeless camps, and he's interviewing people, and he is trying to video and document the crisis with homelessness and overdoses and crime and drug use just openly in the streets, that people are just...
Is that the one you sent me the link to? One of them? And
he has a whole page, and then I found another one as well. It's like Seattle something, but it is extreme, and it really opened my eyes to like the blatant just blindness that everyone's turning their heads to with the open drug use. I think that I agree people should not be arrested for using drugs. That's just my personal opinion because it's their choice. I don't think it should be illegal to choicefully do a drug. I do not agree with them smoking drugs openly in the streets.
well, they do have laws against drinking in public.
Right.
Public intoxication
And
is a crime.
Can you smoke weed in public?
I do not believe so. But these are things, again, that are
If you can't
situationally...
drink in public, which is like literally you're drinking, it's going in your body. There's no smoke coming out. It's not harming. So there's no like side effect for somebody else.
Drunk, though.
But you're smoking something and you're blowing that out to a child that's walking by, or someone that's walking by, or you're leaving a needle on the ground or a piece of foil where children and people are walking and being. That is not okay. And so, and in Portland, Oregon was another one. I think you kind of were listening to the one I was listening to last night, but it was like these three, Thurston County, Seattle, and Portland were the ones I was watching, and it is devastating. Honestly, it's insane. And they opened the hotel.
Yeah,
the Hawks Prairie.
I can speak on that. So what stood out to me about the videos was we had already discussed that they were going to open that hotel up there. The days in, they turned it into a houseless place where people could. I don't even know if there's a waiting list, or there was, and they scratched it. And then there's a different type of way to get in.
The video
to get
that
a
I
bed.
had shows that the tents are numbered, and their numbers.
Yeah.
Get into
They went through, but if the person wasn't at that tent at the time, it didn't get numbered. But prior to them having that number system, they had a waiting list already established. They scratched that waiting list and then went to this new number system. But what I was getting at is the video was showing how reluctant these people are to leave their current situation. Some, not all, but there are, those that feel like their lives are better, that the quality of lives that they're having off the side of a freeway, because in one of the videos you could see cars going by or hear them and kind of see them in the distance. So this particular location was probably close to a freeway or a main street. And they were saying, like, we have more space, we regulate, we have guns, legal guns, they have the freedom.
You have to think of the aspect of they don't have to pay rent to anybody. They're living for free, right? And like in the
they're still getting. And when they asked about food, they said they had food stamps. So they're still receiving the benefits of the government. However, they're not paying into the government whatsoever because they're living literally off the land. And they have the guy was walking through these big lots of areas where they had all kinds of, used furniture and space and clotheslines and tent situations, tarps, creating walls and different compartments. Right. And they're content to be in their community. That's where they're comfortable. And he asked them, he said, so if I gave you a hotel room, you wouldn't take it? And a couple of people in that particular video were like, absolutely not. No.
And in their defense, in their eyes, they know it's a temporary situation.
I was just about to say that.
So it's like, we've been building on this land right here. We've been bringing all this furniture. We've been getting all these tents and these blankets, and we've been building all these things to make this outdoor living work for us. And we're going to remove it all to go live in a hotel for 3 to 6 months and then have to do this again because we don't have the money to stay somewhere, or they're not going to fund it, or because the hotel thing says that they're requiring sober. I don't know how they're going to attain managing that, but a lot of those people are wanting to be under monitored situations. And also, I think that like he said, it's a freedom. You're not being monitored by anything. You're out doing at your own will and risk, and you are basically making the rules up yourself. You know, which if you think about to an extent, like it would be amazing to have to like, but we are making income at the same time, so it would be like we would have. A lot of those people are not working or trying to work, so it's like they're just literally living how they want, free.
I can see how that could almost feel like probation or something, depending on how it's set up. You know,
I mean, there's a certain appeal to being free, to feeling free, like you have no restrictions, like somebody's not holding your money hostage or taxing you or whatever the case may be. There is a certain appeal to it.
And there are a lot of those people that believe in like government, what is it called?
Like sovereignness.
Conspiracies
type
of stuff. A lot of those people, when you speak to them, they believe in like a lot of conspiracies and government conspiracies. So that also gives more reason for like why we are doing it.
No, at the end of the day, I think that it would be ideal if there was just a way to safely and peacefully just coexist. Let the people who do not want to conform to living under structures in society live the way they want to live, but in a way that's not causing harm to the society that does want to live this particular way.
Right, like in a store parking lot where you have to be, the security's wanting to walk you in and out because of the people living on the side of the store. Like that type of stuff. And you're with your kids. Or like you should be able to go to a public park and it should still be a nice place for you to take your kid for an outing and not have to worry about the off-grid in the woods right there. I get what you're saying. And I've always wondered that too, because as I'm driving every day, I always see huge land, like fields that just nothing's existing. And I'm like, why aren't they like there? You know, because if it was me and I was like, let me go find myself somewhere to freaking exist, I would be like over there. You know what I'm saying? Like still in town, but like over there in a field, like where you're
this
close
is different.
to
like one thing I try to practice when I'm thinking about people and their situations and their scenarios is literally trying to embody what it would be like to see things through their lens. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean I have to agree with it or you know, get a sign and advocate for it, but it just means that I'm able to have that understanding of like I said, I could see the appeal to that type of life. It's not for me, but I'm not going to condemn it either. You know, it's not my position to say you shouldn't be living that way. You need to be in a hotel or a tiny home or this or that. That's not my place. You know what I mean? And if someone comes to me professionally or privately seeking some type of guidance or help based on what they want, then I'm able to do that. You know, comfortably, because I'm not going to impose my spirituality, my beliefs, my ideologies. I'm not going to impose anything on somebody that comes to me for help, because whatever they believe about their life is true for them. It's the same thing when they say, like, you know, other directed, like recovery, like being a recovery coach. I'm not giving people advice. You know, they come with a plan, with a particular idea about their pathway to recovery, and it's my job to just kind of coach, hold the hope, and help them get there.
Kind of nudge them a little bit.
So like I said,
exactly.
If I had to say, like, to law enforcement what I would like to see, or to our governor, it would be to get them off of the public streets and out of public areas and parks, sidewalks, and to let them be where they're going to be in land that is not a storefront or store side or a sidewalk where children and us just want to go explore the town for the day, or a park where the parks are supposed to be monitored and safe and clean. And I'm pretty sure we pay taxes for stuff like that. So I would say that our law enforcement needs to do a better job at securing those things for us, and do more worrying about keeping them off of the grid, kind of. Is that the, like...
Yeah, I mean, you're making a good point, and also because I have a little bit of inside intel with a brief conversation with our sheriff, our Thurston County Sheriff, who's also agreed to come on the show soon for this season. So a lot of these questions and a lot of these barriers that law enforcement have can be better explained, and we can address that with him when he's on the show.
Yeah, I can say I haven't personally went downtown Olympia and seen people smoking drugs, but I'm telling you, the videos in Seattle right now this reporter is documenting, it is literally people lined up on the sidewalk with foil and pipes, just smoking away in the broad daylight, and every other person is standing up slumped over. It is insane to see that it's just out in the open, in front of all the businesses, in front of the cops, because they're not arresting for things like that, and it's not illegal at this time up there for that to be occurring. And
No, it is now.
Is it a ticket at least?
No,
or?
it's illegal now.
You can go to jail?
Yes, it's official. Yep.
You need to see the TikToks.
I don't need to see the TikToks.
Because
I
he
know
was
the law.
talking to the cops too.
But those TikToks might be prior to the enactment of the law.
July. When was that?
It's just recently passed. Yeah.
Because that was actually on his thing too.
Yeah. The law.
The hearing thing.
Washington State is no longer lacking a possession law. No, the state.
So it's lockup.
It can be.
I don't think it was about possession.
It's both.
A certain
now.
amount?
It's both now. Now it's like they can refer to services.
Yeah, that's what I saw in Portland.
And or
lockup.
Prosecution.
In Portland.
And then the prosecutor decides. I believe, because when I was talking with the sheriff, this is what he was explaining to me. And so, like I said, we can save this so that I'm not putting my foot in my mouth.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure, A, that it is now illegal again in Washington to possess drugs. That part I know for a fact. The specifics of how that is being enforced, I'm not 100% sure on. And it might be county to county. It might be, precinct to precinct. They might not all be on the same page. No, I don't think it's a felony.
Because that's what it used to be.
It is illegal again.
It's a jailable offense.
So the Portland, Oregon, so this is not Washington, but Oregon, there was a cop and a reporter going, and they were pulling upon someone that was smoking fentanyl, and he got out and ticketed the man, and his options were to pay the fine or seek the treatment number on the ticket.
He had to choose right then?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That was what our system was prior. It was just referrals. So if officers were to find you in that possession or whatever, you would get referred to services. But what they were finding was these cars were in the gutters. They weren't taking it upon themselves to go get services when they knew that there was no repercussion or consequence.
Oh, that's wide open. No consequence?
Yeah. But now there is, and it's just a matter of how they go about it, because the pressure from the community for the lack of for the past 2 years is really high, as far as they want to see something done about it.
Community's mad.
But at the same time, we're in the era where, people are pushing treatment over incarceration.
Right.
And I believe that too. It should be treatment over incarceration.
Yeah.
So,
but it should be forced, just like incarceration is forced.
But one thing that I remember him speaking about was, if there's an underlying crime with it, then it's for sure getting referred. Right. So you have possession, but you just did a robbery, or you got a gun, or
but then they're getting the drug court because
in the course of this. You know what I mean? But even with drug court, you get one shot.
True.
You know what I mean? It's rare that somebody will get offered drug court multiple times and keep failing. So, if it works, it works. I know a few good people right now that drug court turned them around, saved their life, and now they're doing hella good. So it's possible. It's possible. You know, there's a lot of different.
The person just has to want it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Individual.
There's a lot of different avenues, and you know, speaking of which, I am actually officially invited to represent our community on the drug court board. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing.
Bro.
I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what that looks like and how I can continue in this holistic pathway of helping in the community and recovery and, you know, just being an uplifting, you know, public figure in the 360.
I heard you talking, but I didn't quite know what it was. I knew it was the board of something. But congratulations, man. That's super cool.
Yeah.
For real.
You know, I hope to do something with it. You know,
that's dope, bro.
Help make some things better. And, you know, I know my voice is big. So.
Also, they need the diversity. Definitely, too. I feel like not only just male, but black.
Or, you know, just more BIPOC in general, you know, represented, more diverse, just in all different levels, though, not just on boards like that, but, you know, more peer workers, more wise team members.
Right.
You know, it needs to be more diverse because then a lot of the underserved families will get that, you know, that help that they need, and you know, they'll be more willing to engage with people that are culturally relatable,
like them, right?
Yeah, it's more of like I think I worded it right, culturally relatable, because it's not like a racist thing, like, oh, I don't want help because you're not my race, but I'm more inclined to receive your help if you can relate and connect with me. And it's just like recovery coaches, you know, in certain organizations, a recovery coach is matched based on similarities and lived experience, commonalities, not the opposite. You know, just because you have this title and this person is seeking one doesn't mean you're going to be good together.
Don't mean nothing, right?
No, it's like attracts like. It's not opposites attract. You know, that's a common, you know, fallacy that we believe in too. And it was just like I had on a Zoom meeting, the topic had come up about, you know, someone had said, you know, in their field, they had been taught the golden rule was to treat someone the way you want to be treated. And I actually challenged that. And I said, actually, the platinum rule is treat somebody the way they want to be treated. You know, because if you borrow my car, I want you to treat it like it's my car.
Right.
Not like it's your car.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You treat somebody the way they want to be treated, because if you treat people based on your core beliefs and how you want to be treated, you're taking away from that person the ability to feel good about your guys' interaction. And that's why they say other directed recovery. Because the person that's in front of you that's getting your coaching and your services is going to define what they feel and believe their recovery is and how they want to go about it. And you have to honor and respect that.
Right.
Because if you treat them based on your religion or your beliefs,
and steer them the wrong way,
you're gonna get, you know, friction, and they're not gonna feel great, and you might run them off from ever wanting to get recovery help in that form anyway.
I hated about a lot of treatment. I feel like they were trying to push spirituality.
You know, and you have to let
they definitely do that.
I don't want to freaking do this and pray and like have to live in this higher like I'm just not who I am. Okay, like I think there's God, yeah, and I believe that, but I don't think like beyond that. I'm not like, oh, when I die, this is what's gonna happen to me. It's just there's a God, and I believe that there's heaven, there's hell. Cool. Like I don't think all that extraness, you know what I mean, or care to, or like I don't want to. And I hated that they push that so hardcore.
And that's just
I recovered just fine without all that.
And that's one model of recovery. A lot of recovery now is leaning into the holistic many pathways too, opposed to nope, this is the only way. You got to have religion. You got to have this. we're steering away from that because it's not for everybody. There are people that is very successful in those very direct and very strict pathways to recovery. There's people that are very successful in those, and if someone came to me and said, "This is what I believe, this is what I think works," I would honor that for that person because that's what's going to work for them.
A drug is a drug is a drug is a drug. For me, that's not true. I can drink just fine, and I never relapsed. And I pretty much drink regularly without being a drunk alcoholic and passing out or relapsing on drugs because I drink.
Yeah,
it's not the same for everybody.
You know, there's harm reduction. There's the ideology that being in recovery can mean from this and not that.
Yeah, but
so you can be in recovery from heroin, but not identify as being an alcoholic, so therefore you can drink.
I could also go to the dentist and get prescribed some Percocets and take them due to a tooth pain and not relapse on pills and heroin. But that's me. I don't. It's not
Everyone's different. I did it my way. You did it your way. You know, you do it your way. Everyone's different. I got to ask you a question. Is that something you guys say at work? Houseless? I meant to ask you a few episodes ago.
Yeah, I mean, it comes about in our training. There's we believe in harm reduction, least amount of harm in our speech, and stigmatizing, phrases like, you notice I don't say addict.
I noticed.
You know what I'm saying? And I used to, up to just a couple months ago. Right. And then I got these trainings and awareness. And it's like I'm one of those people, like once I become aware of something, it's hard for me to consciously call something that has been trained or taught to me to be harmful. So it's like now that I know that's a harmful, stigmatizing, hurtful way to identify, somebody, then it's hard for me to say it. Even if I do say it, I feel it coming out. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That makes sense. No, it does.
You know what I'm saying? So there's it's just certain things that just come with the field I'm in and come with the training, and the trainings are constant. Like one thing about peer work and social workers, for all of you guys that are in it, it's never ending with the training. It's constant. We're always going into trainings. We're always learning new ways to be more efficient and less harmful to the people that are getting services through our organization, our company, our individual programs, our support groups. Like everything is about holistic healing and moving forward. And recovery isn't just substance abuse. It's lots of things.
Right.
You can be in recovery for mental health issues. You could be in recovery from, the way you responded to a divorce. You could be in recovery from overspending, overeating, just culture shock from leaving one area and coming to another, getting out of prison. You can be in recovery from the transition as being, in reentry. There's many pathways to recovery, but there's also many things that people are recovering from.
Okay.
And so, with the better outlook and a broader definition of what that means, it's easier to realize where things can be considered harmful that we grew up saying, certain lingos and,
it's
and
normal.
Stuff like that.
It's normal.
Yeah, you can normalize things that are actually have been found out to be harmful. And then when you find that out and you get the training and it breaks down why and how, saying this is better than this and this over that, then it's like, all right, well, now to consciously go against that, you would be causing harm deliberately. And can you do that? Are you okay doing that in a field where you're passionate about helping?
It's interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of,
it's deep too.
Yeah. We got some other deep conversations. I remember. So you were talking about like our level of maturity in relationships, and we had a deep phone conversation that we thought, you know what, this is a topic that should be brought up on the show. And go ahead from kind of what you told me yesterday about your partner. You don't got to put his name out there, but kind of how that
Oh, okay. So we was just talking, and he was just asking me about like how, like, I don't want to be a dog anymore. He said, I don't want to be a dog. I really, I don't want to be a dog. Whoop-de-whoop. And I just told him, like, man, you have to get to a certain place.
You might got to elaborate on I don't want to be a dog.
Just too much
just
out
in
there
case.
at the same time.
Well,
okay,
we're not going to say his name, but
Right.
your nameless homeboy has said he doesn't want to
be a dog in his kind of halfway relationship. Right, so he
by dog you mean like basically he doesn't want to cheat, he doesn't want to chase, and he had asked you
halfway relationship
because I don't
think you don't consider okay.
Yeah, they're kind of halfway. They're kind of halfway.
Okay.
They're halfway there.
But maybe part of that is because of his issue. I don't know. But I told him, man, you just you like love to me is like putting someone else's happiness before your own. You know what I mean? Like that's what love is in any kind of way. And like you would want to get to a certain position to where you don't even want to hurt the person that you're with. You care about them so much that doing something like that would hurt them.
Would hurt you to hurt them, right?
Not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you guys something else. Back yonder, when I was an idiot, I did some things that to this day I still regret. You know what I mean? Treated people less than human. And that bothers me to this day. You know what I'm saying? So, and been too coward to give an apology that I owe, because I know I fucked it. But that was a part of growing. The point being is it haunts me to this day. And I don't ever want to feel like that. I guess it is my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're right.
I saw something the other day too, and it was like being in love is falling in love over and over again with the same person.
Okay.
So like you're with somebody for so long, but then you reach points where it's like we talked about this before on a different episode. You go through struggles, and it's like everyone has to realize that they like this is what being in a relationship entails. Like you have to go through these things. You're gonna go through these with everyone. So don't think it's just this relationship. This is like if you get into you're gonna have that honeymoon phase and everything's gonna be so ooh ah, and then you're gonna get to the same point you were just in the last relationship that made you guess and question it and made you leave it. And now here you are in a new one that you wasted and spent more time on, left the person that you love to care about because you thought that was the problem. It is a lifelong commitment, and it's a choice.
Right.
Like, it's not always going to be freaking roses and whatever.
It shouldn't be.
For some people, they are like that, but it doesn't mean that that's for you and your relationship.
But that's also outside looking in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people have the agreement straight up that, whatever is going on, they're going to figure it out behind closed doors and come through it. And you asked me yesterday, like what would you have said? And I honestly, told you, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm to a point where, the things that I did in the past, they don't even, there's no desire to cheat. There's no benefit in cheating.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. There's no desire. So I don't have the capacity, the energy, the time, or the headspace to even think about trying to entertain some other new relationship for no reason while I'm already content and happy where I am. And whether it's an age thing, a wisdom thing, having done it all wrong so many times that you get tired and you just want to do it right, or just the simple fact that I'm in love as fuck with my babe and I'm not that shit doesn't interest me.
Right.
So even if somebody were to get at me or holler at me or shoot me, there's zero interest. I could turn them down just like somebody offering me a soda I don't like. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't drink that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like Coke. I like Babe. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody.
Right.
I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like there's
I
nothing
do.
that appeals to me about another woman. Period. And then on top of that, there's so much more at risk and at stake. You know, and we talked about it, like we have kids that are going to look at us fucked up.
Right.
You know, we have the fact that we're literally hurting somebody that we know damn well we're not going to want to look in their eyes and actually see and feel that type of hurt. And then you can't even necessarily...
It's when you turn into a different person, too.
Exactly. Like when you have that internal evolution and you get to a new point, whatever you were doing before, it no longer exists. It's gone. It's over. So, and I've told people before, like, if you're going to look at me through a filter of who I was yesterday, then you're missing the whole point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it doesn't bother me.
And again, that goes back to what I was saying. So, like, when the challenges come up, or you feel like your sexual life might not be as active as you want it to be, or you wish that you had more one-on-one time, or you feel like your partner's always distracted or tired, or they're more about their work ethic at the moment. There are moments in life that you're going to go through those feelings and those things, and the most important thing you can do is just express it and talk about it. It's going to be awkward, probably, always. But like the one thing that you can do to like get through it, right, and to understand is be like, babe, like, what's up? Like, let's get some, you know, or like it's been lacking lately, or like, you know, because it's 90% of the time probably not intentional. It's just like you're doing daily routines, and when you have kids and they're like still in those young ages where it's like they're gonna bust in the room, or like they have to be sleeping and they might not be on a routine. Like those, there are barriers. They're not the same as when you first got together and you guys were young and you didn't have barriers like that. You could do whatever, whenever, all the time, you know? So it's like, this is what I was talking about. You were growing in your relationship. You have to be, I guess it's mature enough to recognize the steps and the phases that you're going to go through in life, growing old with the person. And it's just if you want it or not. And if, you know,
you know what I'm saying? You might be playing Madden and you know, get some random head and the award goes to, you know. It's just, you got to spice up. You got to spice it up sometimes, man. You got to be like, you got to be willing to, and we had talked about this too. Like one thing, you know, especially with me being home now, is I want to start getting into the family meetings or just checking in. Like, you have a job that you go to work for somebody else, and most jobs, especially like corporate, you know, company jobs, car sales, they have meetings, sometimes every morning, sometimes weekly, and then those meetings,
successful ones.
yeah, and in those meetings they discuss what's working, what's not working, how can I support you better, what's lacking, da-da. If you were to do that a set of time where you just meet either with the family or just with your partner, and you know, make sure your agreements are still your agreements, and where we lacking, where can we get better, and this and that, and even with your parenting, include the kids in these family meetings. Your family is more important than any job you do for somebody else. So why not apply the same energy in making sure it's operating like a well-oiled machine?
Which brings me to another point too with the parenting thing, is I've really been trying to make a difference this summer.
And she has been.
Yeah, like completely. Been more understanding, less responsive, less entertaining of the BS. Like, I've been trying to talk to them more calmly and maturely with them, because I was realizing that I was very childlike in my responses. Even the yelling is childlike for me to react and yell. Sometimes when they would ask me, I would roll my eyes, or I would be like, oh, I don't want to. Like, that is so childish for me. I'm the one setting examples. I was like, no wonder. So those little things I'm like trying to be conscious of, because it's like, I keep seeing all these things and it's like, they're mirroring your behavior, they're mirroring your behavior, they're mirroring your behavior. So now I'm like, it's that's instilling in me. I'm getting it. And things have been a lot smoother than during the school year. However, school has not been in, so we haven't had those problems where Aries isn't wanting to get up and brush her teeth and get ready. She's can do it throughout the daytime at her own kind of will, but that's another thing that I've been reading up on and learning a lot too, is like maybe she's feeling controlled and she doesn't like that. Would I like that? No, I don't want to feel controlled. I don't want somebody to tell me what I'm already doing, or so I'm just trying to be super more mindful, and it's tiny steps, but I think that we're making progress for sure. I feel like.
And remember we had that text back and forth when I was saying, I like to give the kids enough autonomy to feel like they can grow and develop, but not enough lenience to like hurt themselves or each other or be disrespectful to us and think it's okay.
Well,
but to be autonomy in their play and let them get to a point and kind of, I've been holding back on intervening in their interaction. Let them figure it out.
I'm all about it.
Before it gets bad, or even letting it get to a point where one of them gets hurt, because then I could step in as a teaching moment, be like, see, that's why you shouldn't be doing that, because it goes that far. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, it's work. It's work in progress. Parenting is a commitment every day, all the time, and we're consistently becoming better at it.
Right.
Because as they grow, their personality changes.
Right.
So the challenges change.
The biggest challenge for me, because this is how I am and this is what I like and this is something that I value highly, is presentation. So I like to look presentable. I like my kids to look presentable. I prefer us all to be matching if we're going on an outing, color coordinated. And I prefer their hair to be styled and done. Definitely teeth brushed. They don't necessarily have to bathe just because whatever they bathe every other day, they brush their teeth twice a day. Cool. But if we're like going, I want them to be what I consider acceptable, presentable, right? So what I'm coming to terms with is her age and the fact that she may be feeling controlled or like she can't be herself because I'm like, wear this, or that's not matching or cute, or your hair does not look good that way. And she's like, well, what the fuck? Like, you don't ever think my stuff is cute, and you don't ever think, and I'm like, I'm not trying to hurt her feelings or make her feel that way. But in my mind, I'm like thinking that I'm doing the good thing by making sure she looks this way and is presented this way, but in her mind she wants me less control. She wants to be herself, express herself, do her own hair or not do her hair, and dress the way she wants to. And that's really, really, really hard for me to.
Hella hard.
You are the parent though.
I know, but it's just.
But it's like, there's things that you want to instill. There's things that as a parent and a lifeguard you have to enforce for their safety. But when you're talking about you want your child to build good quality character, you can't then put a cage around that character's growth. And if they want to express themselves a certain way, you kind of have to let them.
Right.
It's not harmful if she wants to wear her hair messy. It's just annoying to her mom.
Right, because I feel like it's a representation of me, too.
You know what I mean?
But you're internalizing that child's personality and that child's expression. And if you're internalizing it to a point where you're willing to suppress it, is that fair to that child?
I just want to instill in her the importance of self-care, too.
Like I said a few minutes ago, at the end of the day, you're the parent.
Yeah.
It's weird. I give it.
It's just not worth the fight anymore. With it too, during school, I let it go. So what happened was I ended up every day, you dress how you want, you represent yourself how you want for school. If you are on the weekend and we are going to a family outing, a party, the mall, the zoo, I'm going to dress you. And I'm going to do your hair. That's
a good compromise.
If you're coming with me to do something, like, I'm going to make sure that you are this way. If you want to go to school and present how you want to present, that's on you, boo.
And if you're going with dad, just get in the car. You know what it is. We're going to do what we're going to do. It don't matter. It's good. Before we go out, I want to give a shout out to Cliff of CPC and Stuffing Things. Big shout out. He sponsored us with some shirts and some hoodies. So for this season, we'll have some dope gear. We look forward to him being on the show and also, collaborating on some business ventures and some ideas. and just staying in tune with the company. Shout out to Rob Wiggins. We'll be out there. Well, these two will be out there to interview you guys and get some pictures of the cars and pop it with y'all at the Lake Fair Parade. That's gonna be cool. Any shout outs you want to drop? No, you got
Shout out to my mom and dad. It's my dad's birthday today.
Hey.
Today?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Cal from Cal's Pops.
Yeah, happy birthday.
You know, and shout out to Mama Drill. Always. Love and respect.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Both you guys didn't say it right.
Yeah,
How you say it?
right.
Wakanda forever.
She's probably right, though.
Probably. Yeah, the irony in that. Huh?
That did sound official.
That sound official for sure.
Thank you guys for your support, as always. Thank you.
And we back. Season 1. Love and Laycee, the podcast show for the 360. Hey.
Hey, and ain't nobody responded to them tattoo shops. Come on now. Where the artists at, though? For
Unacceptable.
real.
I know. I see everybody got ink.
Unacceptable.
I'm about to just jump around and whoever, it's about to be just random.
That dude Riley went to Texas.
Ooh, I've been seeing filthy ass one. Wait, what? He moved?
Yeah, but he said he's coming back once a month. I got his number, so he said it'll let me know.
I would almost make a
he's
trip.
my tattoo.
I would almost make a trip for some of the ones if I really wanted portraits like that.
Yeah, there's only certain people you can go to.
Ooh,
for
I've seen some
portraits,
filthy ones.
You know,
Yeah.
like what was it, Ink Wars on TV? They were pretty good.
Man,
And I've seen some TikToks. They're hooking people up to IVs and they're having like 10 artists because they want like a back piece. And so they'll have like 10 artists doing a different piece of the back at a time, so it's done in a timely manner, and they hook them up to like IV and monitor their heart rate and shit. I'm like, that's filthy.
Wow.
This shit's getting out of
filthy.
control.
One day, you get in one day and your whole back just
No
sleeved
way.
in.
This shit's getting out of control.
It's filthy.
I guess they're paying for it. Cool.
Also, before we go, Love and Laycee, the podcast show, we are doing a live bingo monthly game. BINGO LACEY.
I was just dropping the ad libs.
Yeah, we got that going on. So I will be discussing that, and we will tell you how to purchase your cards, what that looks like, how we keep the masters, how everything is going to go down, the big prizes you're going to be able to win.
Winner, chicken dinner.
All that coming soon. Stay tuned.